This morning, the Lexington County Coroner and SLED are investigating a shooting involving a Newberry County deputy. It started with a carjacking on I-26 near mile marker 60. Deputies chased the vehicle down the freeway towards Columbia. The Newberry County Sheriff's Office says the suspect intentionally hit a deputy's vehicle, driving him into a guardrail. The shooting happened near mile marker 91. The deputies were not hurt. We will keep you updated as we learn more information. Right now, a South Carolina high school is mourning the loss of a 16-year-old student who died with COVID-19. The school staff will be shorthanded because of a number of teachers, administrators, and bus drivers. They're out sick with the virus as well. Glenn Counts reports from Lancaster County.
He loved being active, man. He was in my gym class. He liked to talk to everybody, you know, and he always talked good about everybody.
Seth Marshall is remembering his friend and classmate. The 16-year-old passed away this week from COVID.
It just hit different, you know, like he wasn't family, but, you know, it hit like family. It was just a very devastating moment.
School officials have not released his name, but they tell us that they learned the teen wasn't doing well and was airlifted to the hospital where he succumbed to the virus. This happened a few days before the start of school, and the superintendent says the virus has touched the district in a major way.
We're going to have classrooms without teachers. We're going to have classrooms in buildings without administrators because I have administrators out with COVID, I have teachers out with COVID, bus drivers out with COVID, maintenance staff out with COVID.
He can't mandate masks because of a South Carolina law prohibiting it, so he's pleading with parents to ask their kids to mask up. Seth says his friend's death is proof that COVID is real, it's dangerous, and it's difficult for him to think about what he lost.
It was just great seeing him every day, you know, and when you were down, he boosted your spirit, you know. He was just that type of man.
This morning and all week, there will be counselors available at Andrew Jackson High School. Other schools have offered resources for students who knew him. Today, we'll get another update from state officials about how many new COVID cases have been confirmed since Friday. This is a look at the latest totals in the Carolinas and Georgia, with all three states seeing an upward trend in cases. Starting today, Spartanburg Water will no longer accept walk-ins. People can still go in person through the drive-thru, but they're encouraging people to make payments online or over the phone to prevent the spread of COVID. More businesses appear to be mandating vaccines for their employees. According to the job site Indeed.com, job postings with that requirement went up 34% in the first week of August. Still, the majority of postings do not list this vaccine requirement. And as vaccine requirements continue to go up, so are fake vaccination cards. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says federal officials need to stop the flow coming from overseas. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers have seized thousands of counterfeit cards.
Fake COVID cards. There are now people are manufacturing and selling fake COVID cards, even though it's a crime. And this is incredible. Some people, rather than get the vaccine, which is free, are paying money for a fake card and risking prosecution.
Using a fake vaccine card with an official U.S. government logo is a federal crime that carries a possible fine and up to 5 years in prison. This morning, the Taliban is taking control of Afghanistan after 20 years of the U.S. working to build up the nation's military and government. Jared Hill is in our exclusive Washington bureau with reaction from the White House and Congress.
Destiny, the White House is admitting that they were surprised at how quickly all of this happened. Meanwhile, congressional Republicans are criticizing how the Biden administration handled the troop withdrawal to begin with. Chaos at Kabul's airport as people try to escape Afghanistan. The country overtaken by Taliban fighters, despite the U.S.'s 2-decade-long effort to build up the Afghan government and military.
We've seen that force has been unable to defend the country, and that has happened more quickly than we anticipated.
The fall of Afghanistan comes not long after the Biden administration announced the majority of U.S. troops would be withdrawn by August 31st.
The offensive you're seeing across the country now to take these provincial capitals would have commenced, and we would have been back at war with the Taliban.
You can't tell a man to learn how to swim as he's drowning and you remove the life raft from him.
Outside of the White House, pro-Afghan protesters chant "No more Taliban," calling for the White House to do more. Over the weekend, the U.S. sent more than 5,000 troops to clear out the embassy and Afghan allies. But for those left behind, concerns about the breakdown of civil freedoms under Taliban rule.
I am worried about the women who are vocal, but more worried about the girls who cannot talk, who don't have platform.
President Biden could speak on the situation later on this week, but so far nothing is on the schedule. Reporting in Washington, I'm Jared Hill for WYFF News 4.
Right now, the death toll is rising in Haiti after an earthquake this weekend. Officials say more than 1,200 people are dead, 5,700 are hurt. The 7.2 magnitude quake hit Saturday, flattening hundreds of homes and other buildings. People in the impoverished nation are racing to rescue survivors ahead of the expected arrival of a tropical storm Grace. Samaritan's Purse is helping with relief efforts in Haiti. The North Carolina-based organization sent a plane of supplies to the country Sunday. The supplies also include temporary shelters and medical treatment kits. New this morning, Georgia House Representative Mickey Stevens has died. Stevens passed away Saturday after an extended illness. He was 77 years old. We spoke to another Georgia representative about how Stevens will be remembered.
The Honorable Representative Mickey Stevens was like no other elected official. He was the gentleman that would be in a room in a meeting and he said what he felt. He didn't hide it. And if he had something to say to you, he was going to say it to you and not about you. So I have a lot of respect for Representative Stevens, and Georgia has really suffered a tremendous loss.
Former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams added, quote, Representative Stevens will be deeply missed by those he served and those who served with him. The nation's food assistance program, known as SNAP, is set to increase its benefits. The agency is expected to announce revisions today with an increase of more than 25% from pre-pandemic levels. The average monthly benefit of $121 per person will go up by $36. A new maximum will increase to $835 a month for a family of 4. All 42 million people enrolled in SNAP benefits will also get more aid when changes go into effect in October.